Hello, how's it going today? Hope you're doing well. Got hair all over my desk. I've been waiting to make this video for a long time. I'm really excited to go over this with you guys. This video is going to be all about how I made my song, Close to You. I really hope that you guys have been enjoying the song, and I hope you enjoyed the music video that dropped last week. That music video was such a blast to film. First time kind of getting someone to come in and help me film a music video and stuff, so I mean, that was really fun. Shout out to Cole Funk. This video probably won't make much sense unless you've heard the song already. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this, is to see the behind the scenes of the final product. So if you want to listen to the song before you watch the video, there's gonna be links in the description. Spotify, Apple Music, or here on YouTube is where you can catch this song and listen to it. Or if you just want to watch this video and pick up some production tips and then listen to the song afterwards so you can hear the final product of what I'm talking about here, that's fine too. Do whatever you want. Yeah, I'm really excited to go over this. I'm so proud of this song. At the time of me making this video, this is my favorite song I've made to date. Let's hop over into Ableton and let's start going over some stuff. All right, so here's the session. Got a lot of layers in here like I normally do for my songs. Let's hop into these drums right here. So let's just go ahead and take a listen real quick to the drums isolated. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, just hi-hats on every 16th with a little bit of rolls in there, very inspired by like trap hi-hat rolls. I just thought it sounded cool. Yeah, the drums are perfectly quantized in this song. There is no attempt to make these drums sound like they were played by a human being. These drums are very artificial. I wanted them to sound kind of artificial and almost borderline trappy with those kind of hi-hats. You know, the hi-hats are just a basic like hi-hat sound. It's a sample I use a lot when I make beats and stuff. We got the snare here. Plays on just every 2 and 4, very basic, except for the occasional like bop-bop. Kind of like a thing they do in surf rock and all that kind of stuff, that bop-bop kind of snare thing. But the meat of the snare is this one sample right here. Oh, it's a Roland TR-707, snare number 10. But I layered it actually with this snare 19 1-2 mini. It's just a teeny tiny little fuzzy kind of sound. I reduced the attack a lot, just as to not interfere with the attack of the main snare. But yeah, those two snares together kind of just give the regular snare a little bit more crisp high end, and just kind of make a little bit more of a unique texture, I suppose. Then we got the kick drum. Very basic, just M bass drum number 23. It's got some nice smack to it, some nice low end. It really kind of, you feel it a little bit. And then I have this little tom sample. It's just a 909 mid tom that just plays these little like parts, and then in conjunction with the whole drum pattern, that's the drums. And then if we get into plugins here, I'm running all the drums through an Ableton drum bus, but I've only got it at 39% wet. And yeah, I'm just adding a little bit of drive and a little bit of boom in the bass drum at 55 hertz. And that's pretty much all I'm really doing. And then that plugin does other stuff under the hood. I have an REQ, just doing a little dip at 443 hertz. I'm running all the drums through this SSL compressor. How much work is this doing? So it's really only compressing the kick and the toms once those come in. Just kind of glues the kit together a little bit more. And it looks like I actually have some fresh air on there, literally barely any, just 3% of the high air. Really, probably not very noticeable, but I put that there. Okay, so that was the drums. Let's move on to the bass guitar, which only comes in the pre-chorus and the final chorus of the song. The bass guitar, it's a very jangly kind of bass. Yeah, so it's got kind of like almost a 90s tone to it is what it makes me think of. It just reminds me of like a bass guitar on like a grunge song, I guess, like the tone. This is actually the mixdown file, so I don't have the like original effects chain that I used to actually get that sound, but I can tell you right now that I 100% used that BOD bass overdrive plugin, this plugin, to get a majority of the tone of that bass. It was DI. I think I ran it through an Ableton bass amp, and then before the Ableton bass amp, I ran it through this BOD bass overdrive, and that's what's given it the tone. Obviously, I messed around with some of the knobs and stuff, but yeah, it's just this really nice, like freaking sweet sounding tone. Yeah, the rest of these plugins down here, just boring mixing things. I mean, you know, if you guys want me to go over some of that stuff, I can break down what I did with specific instruments in the comments below if you guys want to know any of the nitty-gritty nerdy details. Next, let's get into the main riff of the song. You know what I'm talking about. It's as soon as you start playing the song, you hear this little riff. That is just me playing through that chord progression one time, and then it just loops throughout the whole song. The tone actually, so I used my Fender Telecaster on the middle pickup to get that tone. I actually recorded it through my dad's Fender Mustang GT5 or something like that. It's like the really tiny like box that you plug your headphones into. Like, let me go grab it really quick. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so it's this little guy. You plug this end into your guitar, and then you plug headphones in here, and it's like having a little guitar amp like on the go. I was just messing around with it one night, and I found a tone in here that I really, really liked, and I was like, wow, that's a nice tone, man. So I just plugged it into the guitar, and I took the headphone jack output and just plugged it into my audio interface and just recorded it into my computer. Originally, it was just going to be the tone that I used for the demo, but I ended up really liking it in the final recording, and I was like, screw it, let me just go with that. A lot of the guitar tones in this song are actually through here. I'll go through it really quick. Yeah, the rhythm guitars down here, which are these. Those are also being recorded through this, obviously a different tone, different setting through here, but same thing. Little Fender Mustang GT something. What is it? Mustang? Oh, it's called a Mustang Micro. That's right. Oh, and then the chorus riff too. This little part right here. That is actually recorded through the Mustang Micro as well, but I added Valhalla Vintage Verb to it. So if we take the Vintage Verb off, it's just like a really distorted like amp tone. And then I just put Vintage Verb on there at 100% wet on a concert. I think this is actually like the default settings. All I really did was turn the pre-delay down all the way and put the low cut up. I think that's all I did though. This is pretty much almost the initial preset of Valhalla Vintage Verb. If there's a guitar tone that I gravitate towards, it's definitely a very, very distorted tone soaked in Valhalla Vintage Verb or Valhalla Supermassive. I love the way that sounds. It's like a staple for me. So, but backpedaling a little bit, let's go back to the main riff. During the choruses for the main riff, I actually send the main riff to this little micro shift return track right here. It's return track B, and it just has a little micro shift doing some micro shifty things. It's basically just like a stereo widener / chorus. You can hear that kind of chorusy kind of effect in there. And then at certain parts in the song, the pre-chorus and the chorus, I have an acoustic guitar playing the exact same thing, just on the acoustic, and that sounds like this. God. You can hear some ducking in there. It's because it's being sidechained to the kick. And you can also hear that this layer sounds really tinny. That was by design. I didn't want to muddy up any of the low mids. So I did this really aggressive cut at 333 hertz. Yeah, and then together the main riff and the little acoustic part sound like this. Just adds a little bit of twang onto the main riff and just kind of makes it a little more exciting, I guess. It just sounds cool. It sounds very ethereal to me. Let's go ahead and listen to the bass guitar, the drums, and the main riff all together. Just to, I don't know, whatever. Let's just play it. This is how those three parts sound together. In the second chorus, again, I'm bringing in some acoustic guitar. That's what this sounds like. Very pretty. I love the way this sounds. Just adds a lot of sparkle to that final chorus. It just sounds really jangly and really beautiful. I really didn't do anything to these. That's pretty much just the raw recording with some low cut and just a little bit of a presence boost with this shelf right here, and then a little bit of a mids cut right here. And then on the individual tracks themselves, again, it's 2 takes, 1 panned left, 1 panned right. Not hard left, hard right, but panned left and right, 32, 32 respectively. Put a little bit of CLA2A on there because I love the LA2A on acoustic guitars. I use it on acoustics all the time. With the electric rhythm guitar and the acoustic guitar together, that's what this sounds like. Yeah, it's gorgeous. There's this part in the song where everything kind of spaces out and gets really spacey. Yeah, there's this little like part that almost sounds like a synthesizer, but it is not. It is an acoustic guitar that has been reversed and soaked in reverb. That's what this sounds like. I love that. Yeah, it's my acoustic guitar DI into my audio interface, and I just recorded like a little pentatonic riff, Valhalla Vintage Verb, 100% wet. I mean, standard settings. I don't think I touched any of this stuff except for the low cut. Just for fun, let's just go ahead here, turn the reverb off, and straighten out, or forward, or whatever, the recording. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, then when we get to the end of the song here, there's some little outro guitar strums. And that goes on as the song fades out. And to get the reverby tone on these outro guitar strums, I'm using Valhalla Supermassive. Huge Valhalla fan, if you couldn't tell already. Let's move on into more of the ear candy kind of stuff. When we get into the pre-chorus and the breakdown, there's this eerie, like, kind of synth string thing, patch sound, I don't know. Fun fact, that is actually lifted straight out of an old beat I made a couple years back, and it's actually on my YouTube channel. If you go back to like some of the very first videos on my channel, it's actually this beat right here called Moving On. There it is, there it is. Yeah, just a random beat I made for fun a couple years ago and just transposed it to fit the key of this song a little bit better. I think it's just a friction patch that I made in Reason's friction synth. Yeah, I do the little pitch bend thing in there. That's what makes it do that. Then what do we got? We got some risers here. It's just a reverse crash and a reverse reverb, just kind of mixed together. We got this little Vox stutter effect that's going on in the second verse. just a vocal sample that I found, and I just took a little teeny tiny piece of it and just copy pasted it in a really fast succession to make it go. Then I have this square beep. The reason I called it that is because it's just a square wave that I soaked in reverb. And it happens right there in the second verse, right after the Vox stutter, and then it happens again here in the breakdown. It almost just sounds like an extension of the little reversed acoustic guitar part, but it's its own little sound. Then we got this scream sound, which is actually a preset from Omnisphere. This is used to transition from the breakdown into the final chorus. Then we got this little Foley sample here. It's just the sound of like a door creaking open, but I put an Ableton grain delay on there, put it on 100% wet, and it just gives it this really weird, crunchy, crackly, watery kind of sound. Okay, going all the way back to the beginning of the song in the very first chorus. In the second half of the first chorus, just to kind of add some extra layers and spice things up a little bit, I added a shaker and a conga loop. The shaker sounds like this. But now let's get into the vocals. So the song starts off with just the guitar riff and some verse vocals. I did one take, panned, like singing low, and then another take, panned singing in more of my comfortable range. Watching all these things pile up. The last few years haven't been letting up. I do have my vocal chain here for these two vocals. They're exactly the same. Some clip gain just to kind of even out the dynamics of the vocal before going into any of the compression and stuff like that. Just a little bit of EQ8 here, Soothe, magical plugin for vocals. I have it going into a mag EQ, just removing some more boxiness in the 650 range, boosting some subs to kind of just fatten the vocal up a little bit more. Then I have that all going into a Waves de-esser, just de-essing around 58, 48 hertz. And then I have all that going into an RVox, which is gating a little bit. And then I have all that going into a Neutron 3 EQ, which is doing some more dynamic EQ stuff, and so a little cut around the highs. And then all that is going into a CLA2A, which is being limited. And then I just glued those vocals together a little bit using some extra saturation here with this SSL X saturator. And then I have all that going through some Neutron 3, a little bit of sculpting, a little bit extra EQ, a little bit of extra, looks like I have some multi-band compression going on, and then just some regular old peak compression just to tame out some more peaks. And then I'm volume automating all of that with a utility, an Ableton utility. So that's the verse Vox. Then we get into, in the second verse, we get into the rappy part. Right up in my face when all I need is a little bit of peace, but you keep knocking on my door, I'm trying to get some sleep. Can't keep drowning out the thoughts of what they think about me while I'm dreaming up the next thing they're gonna see. Then we get into the creme de la creme of the vocal section, and that is the chorus vocals. Just a bunch of layers of me singing. I have two lead vocals, both panned center. One of them is a little bit more up front, and then I have a double layer underneath just to kind of give a little bit of a chorusing effect. And then I have a bunch of background vocals. I've got, 6 doubles, all panned left and right, respectively. I've got 4 tracks of me singing an octave lower, and then in the chorus, I actually recruited my girlfriend, Mari, to come and sing. So she sang some doubles, so she's singing the same octave that I'm singing, and then I also had her sing some very high falsettos. Could have done them myself, but, you know, the female voice just has a lot more air and a lot more presence to it, and I just kind of wanted her voice to be in the mix to just kind of add some, just lift my vocals up a little bit more in the chorus. So here's what all the gang vocals sound like in the chorus. Everyone's a liar, but we are so true. But I only feel that way when I'm close to you. The pre-chorus is exactly the same, just minus a couple layers. It looks like I don't have as many doubles. I only have 2 tracks of me singing an octave lower as opposed to 4. And then I added the falsettos and the harmonies, and that's what these sound like. Fantasize away, see
see the day when we are in graves.
And then in the pre-chorus, there's this little kind of vocal ad-libby part, which it's like a really distorted kind of vocal that sounds like it's coming through a radio.
All the fights are only temporary, taking it over like we said we would.
A majority of the work being done on that vocal, it's just me cranking the SSL-X saturator and then filtering it very heavily with Ableton EQ8. But that's it. I got really hyper there towards the end of the video. I feel like I was talking a million words a minute because I got this really delicious freaking like cold hot chocolate drink. Probably has some caffeine in there, I don't know. But that's close to you. That's all the individual layers. One of the very rare cases where a song actually exceeds what you initially envisioned. I mean, man, this song just took on a whole life of its own. By the time it comes to, you know, getting the final mix ready and the master, you know, I'm just, oh my God, it's just, I'm ready to just be done with it. It's like, oh my gosh, I never want to hear this song ever again. For this song that didn't happen though, I never got tired of this song. Even still to this day, like, I think this is a great song. I'm very confident. As I'm recording this video, the song's only been out for a week, but it seems like, you know, I've been getting a lot of positive feedback and it seems like you guys are really enjoying it, which is freaking awesome. And it's like, just feels great. If you guys have any specific questions that you'd like me to answer about the song, whether it's mastering or mixing or recording or songwriting even, just drop some comments down below. I will respond and I will do my best to help you out and answer your questions. All the links should be down in the description, but be sure to check this song out on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud. You can purchase the song on Bandcamp and iTunes for I think 69 cents. Music video for this song dropped last week, directed and edited by my good friend Cole Funk. Don't forget to subscribe and all that nonsense for more, you know, from me if you like me and you want to hear more from me. Thank you guys all so much for watching and being interested in what I'm doing here on the channel and what I'm doing with my music. It means so much and I love all you guys who support me. Take care and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.